we're going to use about 2-3 minutes, just your name, your career path in the chat. Quickly, guys. It's going to just be for the next 2-3 minutes. I'm going to be checking the chats now. I just want to see name, country, where you're joining me from, and career path. Okay. Nwankwo is joining from Abuja. Business analysis. It's good to have you here on the call, Nwankwo. Welcome to Talent Club. It's a pleasure to have you on the call. If this is your first session, just put one in the chat while you're at it. If this is your very first time of hearing about Talent Club, joining us, just put one in the chat. All right, so let me see. I see Serge from DRC, data analyst. Welcome to the session. It's really, really good to have you here. Hi, Naomi, data analyst, Cameroon. Wow, we have diversity over here. I love that. I love that. So if this is your first session, just put one in the chat. If it's your second time or you know about us already, just give me 2 in the chat. All right. Your first time, give me 1. It's not your first time, give me 2 in the chat. I'm also looking at that while we are also introducing ourselves. Naomi, 2. Okay, good to have you here once again. Welcome once again to Talent Club. It's good to have you on the call. All right, how about other people? I'm seeing a couple of people on this call. Please, it's not going to be a quiet conversation, guys. We're talking about something that concerns a lot of us. Okay, so I see Stephanie on the call, Sandra, I don't know where Sandra is from. I don't know where Nikesh is from. Naomi, please, you guys, just tell me in the chat where you're joining me from and career path. Okay, so while we are waiting for more people to join, let us put this in the chat. I'm still checking, guys. I am still checking. Introduce yourselves in the chat because we're going to be talking about things that I would also need to refer to your career path. So please, let's put it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to be talking about something very interesting today, and it's how to answer interview questions when switching career paths. So it's actually a question that comes to me a couple of times because everyone is trying to transition into one career path or the other. Okay, and especially right now that tech is the big thing that is going on, and a lot of people are trying to come into tech from healthcare, coming in from finance, or even leaving healthcare, leaving tech to go to healthcare. So it can be any way around, right? You might even be in a different country and now you're like, okay, I want to do project management, but you're coming in from a sales background. So okay, all right, great. Third time, Nikesh, is your third time. Great, it's good to have you here. So today's conversation is just going to be centered around the right structure or the right way to answer questions around career switching. So a major category of people today that we're going to be focused on are career switchers. So if you find yourself in this shoe, we're going to be talking about common challenges you face when answering some types of questions, how to answer them, and just basic things that you should know when you're approaching such questions. So who is Victory? Who is speaking with you today? So I am Victory. I'm a career and a clarity coach. I've spoken to at least 1,500 professionals, and I've actually helped these guys navigate their way into the job market. Currently, I serve as the VP Operations of Talent Club, and everything around clarity, execution, and transformation. That's just Victory. So in layman terms, you're going to be asking a couple of questions in this session, and I'm the right person that would be able to give you that kind of clarity you're looking for. All right. So this is why I want today's session to be very, very interactive, and also I want you guys to ask questions. I want us to share ideas because you might think that your struggle is peculiar to you until you say it. And another person is like, I am literally facing the same thing. So I love those type of situations because you guys get to it just makes you feel less alone. All right. When two people are in the same trouble, it's you just feel better. But when it's just you feel very heavy, like, why me, God, why me? But yeah. So let's move forward. Now we're just going to go straight into it. A lot of us don't understand what employers are thinking, and that's where everything starts from. So I have consultations and I have clarity calls where my clients tell me things like, I'm coming in from a different career path. I think I'll need to use at least 2 3 years before I get my foot in. And I'm like, if you only knew what employers are looking for, I don't think you'll be saying this type of thing. So now I'm going to tell you guys what employers are looking for. I've had at least 2 interviews just last week, and I've been in those type of situations where I had to be involved with decision making for taking someone onto my team. So I can tell you for a fact that some of the things you're worried about is not what the employer is worried about. You're worried about the fact that they are concerned, oh, I'm coming in from healthcare. The employer wants to know, can you actually do the job? It is really that simple. It is not complicated. Can you do it or can you not do it? It doesn't matter if you're coming in from, maybe you were a bricklayer and now you learned how to use SQL and Power BI and you're calling yourself a data analyst. All they want to know is, can you actually do the job? That's what they want. The second thing they want to know is, are you serious or are you experimenting? Now, that question is a very key question because we have people that you're switching career paths every 3 months. So the first 3 months you want to do data analysis. The next time you want to become a cybersecurity professional. So they want to know, are you serious? Are you just experimenting? This is why there's a little caution when it comes to employing career switchers, because it's some employers feel like you may not be really sure about what you're coming into. So there's this tendency that you might be experimenting. Oh, if I get the job, great. If I don't, I'll apply for customer service next month. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Now, the third thing is, will they leave quickly? So there's also this assumption that if you're switching careers, you're not yet stable. That's why an employer would rather hire someone that has 10 years of proven experience in a particular field, and they still want to get another job in that same field. So it just tells them there's this sense of security that, okay, if I hire you, you're not going to leave because you're actually doing what you've been doing for the past 10 years. But if you're switching careers, there's a notion that you're still not sure, or you're not gotten your foot in yet. So you might actually leave. If you're testing, let's say you fall into the category of experimenters, and now you've seen the job for real, and you're like, oh boy, I don't think I can do this thing. There's a tendency that you might opt out. So they are scared about that. That's what a recruiter is thinking. Now, the last thing that you should have in mind is that they are worried if you actually understand the industry. Okay, and trust me, all of these concerns are valid. That's why when you're switching careers, you should be reverse engineering the process. Okay, think like you are a hiring manager and do all the things that would make, if you were a hiring manager, what would make you secure in hiring someone that is switching careers? Just do that thing. Do you understand? So do you actually understand this industry? That's another question they would wonder, because if you have proven years of experience in another industry and you're coming into a new and a different one, how fast can you pick up? Do you actually understand what you're getting into? All those kind of questions are what they're worried about, and these are very valid. Sometimes they may not say it out loud, but it's going to reflect in the kind of questions that are going to come up, especially after your CV has been scanned and they've already seen your CV that, oh, this is what you're doing and all of that. Trust me, these are hidden concerns, and it shouldn't be a problem for you if you're actively trying to cover up these gaps before a recruiter even questions you. All right, so that's what we are here to do today. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a golden rule. You can, if you're in this session and you have a relative, please, you can share this link with them or have this in mind so that you can always tell people. one golden rule of career switching is that you should never, ever, ever apologize for your past. Never apologize for your past experience. Just translate it. Translation is better than, oh, you're here worrying, oh my god, sales, how will I connect sales with project management? No, don't apologize for it. Every experience you have career wise is useful in its own way. All you need to do is to be able to translate it in such a way that it shows you as a valuable person. Okay, so your job is not to worry about how it's going to work. Your job is to connect your past experience to your future value. Okay, so this is where you're thinking, you're thinking beyond the issue. All right, how can I connect my previous experience to where I'm going to, so that it doesn't make a recruiter feel like I am going to be a liability. Instead, they should see me as an asset. So one rule you should always know and live by is that you're not apologizing. Don't go to an interview. Don't ever go to an interview to apologize for your past experience. No, translate it. If they ask you questions, right, you should even be the one educating the recruiter about what you were doing and how that knowledge will be useful in your new career. Like, that's literally how it is. You should see yourself as lucky to have experienced different, career paths. You have these different ideas and different perspectives. It's, trust me, once you're able to translate it in a way that puts you as an asset, a company cannot just let you go like that. Like, so yeah, never apologize. That's the golden rule. Okay, so I'm going to give you three critical steps that you have to take when you're trying to approach any question around transitioning, career transition, career coming in from a different career, whatever that is. I'm going to give you 3 steps you should take when you're answering this question. So quickly, I want you guys to fill the attendance form if you want to have access to the slides and the recording. Today's session is going to be more conversational and less of me talking. So once I give you everything, we now get to talk to ourselves and, yeah. So yeah, the first step is to lead with your why. You did not just wake up one day to say that, oh, I don't think I want to be a salesperson anymore. I think I want to become a business analyst. You did not wake up one day to think about that. So you might want to go back to your drawing board and actually ask yourself, why did I make this decision? For different people, it could be a couple of reasons. And I mean, the common reason is, financial stability, right? Earning power. You want to increase your earning power. But you need to ask yourself this question beyond that. Because trust me, I've had conversations with clients and whereby you see situations like, you were earning so much in this other career, what made you leave? It's not just about money for some people. Trust me, it's about career fulfillment. I've had some kind of conversations where a client will tell me things like, oh, V, it's not like I'm earning bad. I'm doing well enough to fend for myself and my family. But do I actually love what I'm doing? No, I don't think so. That's why I want to transition. So you need to know, why are you choosing this career path? What is about data that you just want to, you can see yourself spending the rest of your life with it? So it's just like choosing a life partner, right? You should be asking yourself why. Like, what about this person that I think I can actually spend the rest of my life with this person? It's the same thing with your career, because I mean, yes, you might change career as time progresses, but when you have your why, it makes it just makes you more interesting to a recruiter, and it just makes them understand that you're not just here for fun and games. Okay, so your strong answer should have these three things. It should be structured in this way. Number 1 is a clear decision moment. If you are looking for a different job, you need to become a storyteller, guys. Especially if you're transitioning, you should have a story. You should have a story that you always tell recruiters when they ask you any question around why you're changing career. Okay, so the first thing in this story should be your decision moment. What made you change your mind? You're not going to go to an interview. I had an interview last week, and he was telling me that he left his previous job because they were toxic. Why would you say that in an interview? You're not supposed to say things like that. You should have a very clear decision moment. Oh, let's create one, right? um Maybe that job was just it was taking a toll on your mental health, or you just felt like this is not something you see yourself doing. You can create maybe a particular day you went to work so exhausted, and at the end of the day you sat down and really asked yourself, is this where I see myself in the next 3, 4, 5 years? And it was at that point you knew that no, you need to do something else. Or maybe you just stumbled on a random training and you're like, oh, let me just add this to my skill set. And in the process of learning, you got to figure out that you enjoy doing this thing a lot more than what you're doing currently. That is literally a clear decision moment. You need to have that. And number two is skill alignment. Now, for some career paths, skills may not always align, may not always look the same. All right. So let me use healthcare for example. If you're coming in from a healthcare background, you may not be using the same tools as what a now what should I use? What a business analyst is going to use in terms of skill set. But there could be a point of alignment from the soft skills. Okay. So there's literally some things you did as a healthcare professional that would still be relevant if you were to become a business analyst in some way. You just need to sit down and think about it. Trust me, you're going to figure it out. I help my clients to discover this most of the time, because it's like when they are telling these stories, and I ask certain types of questions until until you get that clarity, you won't even realize. You're just explaining what you did, how you did it, and I'm like, it's right there in front of you. This and this, you can use it in the same way, like just that the industry is different. So yeah, you need to find out where the skill alignment is for both industries. And finally, your intentional preparation. Okay, what are the things you have done to move forward in this new career you're trying to get into? Like I said, nobody wakes up one day and decides, oh, I want to switch career. Trust me, even if you woke up one day to decide that, it had taken series of events for you to come to that conclusion. Maybe from your previous job, from whatever the case is. It took series of events before you got to that decision moment. So what were the things you now put in place after the decision to get to where you want to get to? So that's where a recruiter wants to know the type of trainings you've taken. Have you done internship? Have you worked on projects? What exactly have you done? Or are you just trying something new? Like I said earlier, recruiters they really avoid people that are just trying or experimenting. Now, number two, the step two is for you to focus and prove your transferable skills. Okay, so if you're transitioning in career, these are the things you need to focus on. Okay, these things are more transferable in, like, they would always repeat themselves in all career paths, if not all, but majority of them. Problem solving, stakeholder management, data analysis of some kind. It may not actually be, at some point in time, every one of us used Excel. At least some of us, we've used Excel. Maybe you didn't use Power BI, but you did some form of data analysis. Even if it was just you collecting, let's say you were collecting data from your health people. Maybe they had to fill a form and you had to use that form to know who to attend. That's some level of data analysis. Leadership is also another thing. So for those of you that were probably in some level of leadership role and now you're trying to transition, you can't leave that leadership aspect behind though. Carry it on your head, because recruiters like to know that you've led other people before. Okay. And finally, the organ of everything is communication, right? Communication cuts across all types of career paths. Whether you are a salesperson, even if you are a bricklayer, you're going to communicate. Whether it's in English, whether you're communicating in Pidgin or what, you need to be able to communicate your idea in a way that makes the next person know what you're trying to say. All right. And when you're talking about any of these things, especially from your previous career path, always focus on measurable results. That just tells them that, oh, you were actually good at this stuff. Okay, so don't go there and say that I used to talk a lot in my previous job. No, measurable results. Okay, either by measurable, can it could be in the tangible way or just numerically numbers. Maybe because of communication you increase revenue to so and so number, or just make sure it's measurable in some way when you're talking about it. All right, now proof of commitment. I think I've said a little about this before. Demonstrate transition efforts. This is where a lot of people miss it, and a lot of you don't understand what it actually means to transition from one career path to the other. It's not just about deciding that I want to become a data analyst or I want to become a healthcare professional. It's not just about deciding. Once you decide, that's literally like, that's the first step. It's literally the first step. You need to actually do what it takes to get to where you want to get to, because one advantage that career transitioners have, which you guys don't even know, is that you get to cut a lot of chase. You're cutting years of like you're literally trying to skip, how do I even put it, like you're skipping some processes. Let's say you were to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, step 8 till step 10, right? You did your step 1 to step 5 in a different career path. Someone else has to do 1 to 10 in the same career path, but you did 1 to 5 in, let's say, a career path that was not paying you so well. And now you're coming into a new career path and you want to start from 5, keeping all the way to 10. That's how you should see transition. And it's okay. Don't allow anybody to make you feel bad that you're trying to get into a new career path for whatever reason. No. But getting from step 5 to step 10, it's still going to take you the same work. Okay, it's not easy, except you want to still take that 10 years like the other person that started from scratch. You know that you need to collapse 10 years worth of work and experience in just 2 or 1 or 3. So I'm talking about training, I'm talking about projects, I'm talking about research, I'm talking about networking. You need to do all of these things that you would have done if you were using your normal 10 years, right? You need to do everything. You need to intern, do so many things so that you can, it tells the recruiter that you are actually committed to this new path. And when you're in an interview, these are things that you need to talk about so that it makes the recruiter feel like you are actually serious and you're not just here to play games or whatever. So it's useful when you put your certification on your CV, okay? Your portfolio, you should be working on projects, you should be doing other things, not just saying, oh, I want to go into data analysis. Maybe one certification should be enough. It is never enough. It is not. You need hands-on experience of some type, okay, either from project or whatever it is. You need some level of effort tells the recruiter that you're actually serious. Now, when a recruiter asks you, how many of us have been in an interview, you've been in a type of interview and this type of question comes up, let's say you're switching careers and they ask you, why are you changing careers? If you've frozen at this type of question before, or you've said something and you went back to your sister like, did I overshare? If you've been in that type of situation, just give me a thumbs up. A recruiter asks you, why are you switching careers? And you probably felt like you said something you shouldn't have said. And now you're thinking back to yourself, should I have said that? I'm going to tell you exactly what you should say when recruiter asks you this question, right? Because trust me, it's very common for us to, you might, when a recruiter asks you this question, they're not asking you to know why you left your previous company. They want to know your past experience summary. Like I said, have a story, okay? The summary of your previous experience, the moment you made your decision, that's the discovery of your new career path. Tell them about the skill overlap, like where there's a meeting point between both career paths, and the future alignment with your new role. So that's the structure when you're answering this type of question. I'm going to give you a very practical example, right? I'm going to run over the structure again. Past experience, discovery moments, skill overlap, and future alignment with role. Okay, I'm going to use a very common, I think, okay, let me use a client situation, for example, right? Coming in from the financial sector, and he was more working more with spreadsheets, everything finance, basically economic stuff and finance stuff. That's what he was into in Nigeria, right? So that's what he was majorly focused on for about 5 years. And now he gets to the UK only to he's like, okay, he started out doing his master's in data science, trying to transition into, I think, data analysis rather, not data science, trying to transition from financial finance into data analysis, coming in to figure out that, oh, data is the next hot stuff, or tech or whatever. So it's like, okay, I'll choose data analysis. Starting out with training, internship, all of that. He figures that this is actually something he loves to do. Okay, so past experiences in finance and data analysis, maybe to an extent, you might think that there is some level of overlapping, but it's not as deep as you think about it. Okay, so in that kind of situation now, when a recruiter asks, why are you changing careers? Past experience, you're coming in, you had 5 years of experience um, as a, let me say, financial consultant, and you discovered that, moving into a new country, you developed a new passion for data analysis, started out with a training, and in the course of the training you figured that this is something that you actually want to do in a longer term. All right, so bringing in your previous experience as a financial analyst, you got to work with certain tools, and you got to, definitely, remember I told you guys things that overlap, right? Problem solving, you talk about that. Stakeholder management, as a financial consultant, obviously you are managing stakeholders. There's some form of data analysis in it. There is leadership skills. Maybe let's say he got to lead a team as a consultant, or even if you didn't lead a team, you can always opt that out. And communication, you were able to break down complex information. Finance people, there's a lot of jargon that might actually confuse you, but his superpower is that he can translate that into simple English, so that a stakeholder is able to make decisions based off all of that. That is literally it's literally similar to what you do as a data analyst. So you just focus on these things. It applies them to all career paths: problem solving, stakeholder management, some level of data analysis, leadership, and communication. That would always intersect in any career path. Okay, so that's literally how he would tell he started telling his story when he was explaining it. And future alignment with the role, bringing in this financial knowledge, right? In fact, aside from the fact that okay, we're talking about data analysis here, we focus more on financial analysis type of role. So that's another thing: targeting and strategy. Put your leg where you have more leverage. I like to say this a lot. Okay, so it means that you're transitioning, but it's not looking like this. It's looking like more of a career pivot because of how you're approaching it. Okay, so if you have a career path you're transitioning into, you might want to sit back. Research is very important in this type of thing. Outline what are things in your previous career path that are also relevant in your current career path of choice. Okay, once you found these things that align, turn it into your career story. And what does your career story involve? The first is your past experience. Just summarize it. Oh, this is what I did. Let's say you didn't have enough job fulfillment. You didn't feel good in that job. When was the discovery moment? All of this should be in your story. Okay, your discovery moment. I was so broke that I couldn't even afford I couldn't even afford my next meal. It was then I knew that no, this career path is not for me. Don't go and tell a recruiter that you were so broke. So far. But yeah, there has to be a discovery moment. Okay, it's just like having your own elevator pitch. It's like a pitch. You need to have this. You have to cram it so that anywhere you do not know, there are sometimes you can literally meet a random person and you do not know who this person is. You guys just start having a conversation. Guys, always be prepared, be prepared, right? You guys might just be having a conversation, and the next thing is like, I used to be this, maybe a salesperson. I had a target of converting 200 people in a month, and I needed to talk to at least 1,000 people. That's a lot of work, and it was so stressful. I had to work from 9. It's just like gisting. If you look at how you gist with your friends, that type of structure. I'm not saying you should come to an interview as if you're gisting, but think about the structure of how you're gisting, right, with your friends. You're like, oh, it was a lot of work. I had to do this, and even the pay was not as great. Okay, so I decided to pick up a new skill, right? I did my research, or maybe a friend introduced me into project management. So I just took one course on Udemy. This like if I was gisting with my friend, right? I'm like, I took a course on Udemy, and doing the course, I think I developed interest for it. Do you get that? And I'm like, I think project management is the way for me. So after that course, I decided to do more. I started working on projects. In that type of conversation, you've sold yourself, right? Now this person understands that, oh, you started with this career path, you're moving up, and now you have a new career path. And you would even go ahead to say, maybe in project management now, you understand, let's say maybe you understand how to communicate better with your teammates because you used to be a salesperson. So there are certain ways you can actually, all those type of things, guys. That's how you tell a recruiter your transition story. Make it a story. Like you should have it in your head. This is why, this is my why, this is what happened, this is how it is going on. And make sure you're actively working to fill the gap when it comes to getting into a new career path, because the same way it's not easy to go from level 1 to level 10 in one career path, is the same way it's not easy to go from level 5 to level 10 as a career switcher. You guys should have that at the back of your mind, right? But the only leverage you have now is that you're not entirely starting from scratch. One myth that a lot of people have had over a long period of time about switching careers, and this myth has actually held them back even from applying to jobs. You're like, I'm starting from scratch. Trust me, if you're switching careers, you do not even need to start from a junior role sometimes. That's if you're positioning yourself right, guys. You do not even need to start from a junior role if you know what you're doing. Okay, now a recruiter is meeting you for the first time, guys. You're responsible for setting the tone. If you go into an interview and you're already setting the tone as a newbie, that's how a recruiter is going to. The recruiter will ask you questions like a newbie. Okay, so whatever you need to do before going into that interview to boost your morale, you should go in there as though you know exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's exactly how you go in. They don't know you before. We position our clients well on LinkedIn. So the only place they might even catch you is if you did not position yourself well on LinkedIn, and now you're coming to, it's like, I've seen your LinkedIn, bro. On your LinkedIn, you didn't position yourself as if you are a fit for this role. So you're coming here to this, that's where the gap might be. But let's say your LinkedIn is up to par, your CV great, and now you're an interview. You have to own it, because these guys don't know you from anywhere. Highest is your social media and your CV. So if those two things are great, it's now up to you in an interview to wow them. Okay, never think that you're starting from scratch if you're switching careers. You are not. Please, let's not take that mindset when we're going into interviews. So these are common mistakes that a lot of career switchers make in interviews when they're trying to sell themselves. I say sell yourself because an interview is literally you convincing the next person that you're the right person for the job. Okay. Number one is over explaining the past. You have no business over explaining how you were a salesperson. Your job is, this is a little bit about what I was doing before. This is my decision moment. This is what I've done to get to where I'm going. And this is how it aligns. This is how both career paths aligns. That's literally your job. Don't dwell on the past experience. Don't dwell on, oh, what I was doing before. No, you've left that. Just use that as a stepping stone for where you're getting to. Okay. Number two is sounding defensive. So there's always this, you feel like a recruiter is attacking you when they're asking you about your previous experience, or maybe they see something on your CV that tells that you're leaving one career path to the other. They're not attacking you. I already told you guys when we started the session, they are concerned. They're not attacking you, they're actually concerned. And I showed you guys, for those of you that joined earlier, okay, I showed you all what they are concerned about. We can actually go back there to just quickly review what they are concerned about. All right, so they are concerned about 4 things, and you need to always know about these things when you're going into an interview. They are not attacking you, they are only concerned, can you do the job? Are you serious, or are you experimenting? Will you leave quickly? Because at the end of the day, you are transitioning. So you've really not done this thing as a real job before. There's a tendency that it might not be what you expected, and you just turn in a resignation letter. So they are concerned. Will you leave quickly? Hiring is stressful. Getting hired is stressful. So we need to think about both sides. Now, do you actually understand the industry? These are 4 concerns that you should already talk about before they ask you. Okay. So yeah, those are the things they're concerned about. They are not attacking you. So there's no need for you to be defensive. Just have it at the back of your mind. These are the things they're concerned about. When you're answering those questions, make sure that you're able to touch every point of their concern. If you want to have access to this slide, just fill the attendance form so you can always look over it when you're going into an interview. Make sure that you touch on each and every one of their concern. It will just make a recruiter feel like, oh, you're actually in my brain. You see it from my perspective, rather than you going in there to defend yourself. Oh, I can actually do this job, or forget about the fact that I'm leaving, I'm coming in from a different. No. You don't need to do all that. Don't go in there and play defensive. Now, another thing you should not do is to downplay your achievements. Just because it was in a different role or career path, that doesn't mean that it is irrelevant. Okay, just because it was in a different sector does not mean it was irrelevant. Trust me, there are even situations. I'm going to tell you this because I've experienced it. There's a situation whereby I was trying to apply for one particular role, going in there and talking about my previous experience and all of these things. The recruiter sees me and they're like, I know a role that best fits what you're looking for. And guys, I'm telling you that things like that happen. So don't even downplay your achievement. There is a role that is suitable for you. That's where targeting comes in. There's a lot to this thing, guys. So you should be targeting roles that you can actually have more leverage in. That's even in the first place, right? So when you're talking about your achievement, just because in a different career path doesn't mean it's irrelevant. If you used to be a marketing genius and you were able to close, let's say you had a close rate of about 60%, that's the kind of achievement that you should be going into an interview. It doesn't matter if you're trying to go in with it, that my communication game is 100, right? I am able to that. Simple. Don't go in there trying to play small because you feel like, oh, it's a new career path, I'm starting from scratch, I really don't have anything to my name yet. It's just like having what's your net worth? I don't have anything to my name. You have things to your name, you just want to abandon it because you are chasing a new career path. Please don't do that. Now, another thing you should not do is to give vague answer. Make sure that all your answers are measurable. I talked about it earlier. when you're answering any question around your career path, ensure that you focus on problem solving, stakeholder management, some level of data analysis, leadership if you've led a team before, communication. These are skills that you cannot run away from in any career path, and make sure it is measurable. So when you're answering any of these things, don't give vague answers, okay? You have to be very specific. If you're talking about problem solving, what was the problem? Um we have the SIT approach when it comes to answering questions. How did you go about it? Situation, what was the situation? What did you do? And what was the result at the end of the day? All right, you should be able to answer all of these questions. All right, let's move forward. So another mistake that you should not make in an interview like this is not preparing structured stories. I'm telling you guys this again. Transitioning, you need to have a transition story. Go on, if in fact after this session, because we're in February, we're still in peak hiring season, January, February, March, April, peak hiring. So you're not too late. All right, you can go after this session, sit down and draft your story, because you cannot escape it. When a recruiter asks questions like, oh, what made you change career paths, or what made you switch, what was your point of, oh, I need to switch, have a story to tell, okay? Because trust me, sometimes recruiters don't just come already with 10 questions that they want to ask you. They might have 3, and the remaining 7 comes out from how you answer the first 3. So you need to make sure that you're in control of the conversation. Know what you're saying. Say only things that you can defend if they ask a follow-up question. So that's why you should not over-explain in the first place. Because if you're talking about things you shouldn't be talking about, it's going to lead to more questions about things you should not be talking about. Okay? So yeah, make sure that you are talking about you've had a structured story before you go into any interview. And that story, at the end of your story, there always has to be an alignment with your newly chosen career path. So yeah, what is your unique edge as a career switcher? This is where a lot of I want you guys to understand that being able to bring a unique perspective into a business is literally something that you should appreciate in yourself. Like, you should see yourself switching careers as a good thing sometimes, okay? Because all the experiences you've had before the switch, you're not just going to forget about it. Trust me, there are literally lessons you learned that you would experience again in your new career path. But this time you've learned it already. You don't need to enter and make the same mistake. So you're coming in with a broader perspective. I started with social media management, guys, and getting from social media management to becoming a growth person, like being in growth as itself. Being in growth now, I understand how social media works. I know what it means to grow a social media page. I know what it takes to effectively generate leads from social media. So how has that helped me in growth? It means that I can contribute in conversations around anything social media and content related. And I can also make decisions around social media and content, because this is something that I've had experience in. That's how you should be thinking about a career transition, guys. The second is cross-industry insights. So let's say you're switching industries entirely. So for me, I wasn't switching industries. It's edtech to edtech, right? But if you're switching industry, you're literally getting double value now, because you're bringing in industry insights to a new industry. All right, you can see things from 2 different angles now, because you're learning this industry, you're coming into a new industry, and you're like, oh, if it was healthcare, this is how we would have done things. All right, there are literally things you discover in the process, and you're like, oh wow, great. Adaptability, you're adapting. You're coming into a situation whereby you might have to do certain things that you're not used to doing. Okay, let's say you did not use to present Power BI, you didn't used to do PowerPoint presentations in your previous role, and now because you are a data analyst, you have to present, right? You literally have to adapt quickly. You need to learn how to do it, and you have to do it. So now it means that you are an asset because you're highly adaptable. That's what it tells a recruiter. And finally, problem solving approaches. You're bringing new insights. That's that's the bedrock of everything. New insights. All right. And I love like for example, in my team, with like my previous team, right? Whenever a new person comes on board, I like, I wouldn't say to pick on them. I don't know, not like picking on them, but picking their brains more, because there's this thing about coming in from a different background, industry, or something like that. It's like you will not see things in the typical way. You're coming in with a fresh insight. So I like picking their brains. I'm like, oh, tell me what you think about this. Trust me, whenever you listen to what people transitioning, what they have to say, they would always be able to give that level of insight that you never have thought about. Okay, so see yourself as an asset. That's the first approach. Always make sure that you see yourself as an asset to a business. If you are already still questioning if you made the right choice or not, you've already lost the game, because a recruiter can sense when you're not sure about yourself. In fact, generally, there's this thing about energy that people don't know. Human beings are naturally wired to read energy. Okay, so if you still feel like you don't even deserve to get a job in that new career path you're trying to apply for, or you're trying to interview for, it would always tell in the way you approach answering questions. So the first thing is already your mindset. Like, you should see that you are an asset. Transitioning does not make you less qualified. It is just going to be about your approach to thinking about it. It doesn't make you less qualified. It just makes you highly, you're coming in with new perspective, industry insight, and you need to make sure you're doing the work, guys. Just because you watch one video on Udemy does not mean you are transitioned into data analysis yet. All right. And this is also where a couple of us get imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome comes in two ways. Either you are an actual imposter, or you've gotten so good at this thing that you don't even know that you're good at it anymore. It is one or two things. Sometimes your brain is actually telling you the truth that you've not done enough. Like, let's be real. And other times, your brain is also lying to you that you've done enough. You've actually done enough, but your brain is telling you that you're not even doing as much as you should. So it's two ways. And you have to really, really think about what way your imposter syndrome is coming as. Okay. I had a client that she didn't want, she wanted us to remove certain skill sets from her CV. And as soon as she mentioned this to one of my managers, I'm like, one of my employability specialists, I'm like, I need to have a conversation with this person. Why are you taking off Trello, your ability to use Trello, Jira, and some other key tools as a project man? Why are you taking it off your CV, right? She's like, oh, it's not like I cannot use it though, but I can't use it very well. So I don't want a recruiter to see it and ask me questions that I won't be able to answer. I'm just there like, come on, guys. You need to see, the interview is just a stage you need to cross, and you need to do what it takes to cross that interview. So if your CV needs to contain the necessary keywords, every keyword needs to be there. It's not you that decides what makes you qualified for a job. It is the company and the recruiter. So if they tell you that what they need in the person they want, they need them to be able to use Trello, Jira, and some other tools, maybe MS Project or whatever. Your job is to go and learn how to use it and be good at it. You may not need to be 100%, but at least be good to an extent that you can answer questions around it, guys. Right? So that kind of, for that person now, right, her imposter syndrome was coming from the fact that, like, she actually did not feel confident using those tools. Okay, so don't shy away from those type of things because you feel you're not good enough, or maybe you're coming in from a new background. What if they ask me something that I don't know? What if they discover that, oh, I don't really know this thing as much as I say I know it? Guys, just trash all of that mindset. Do your part, do the training, do the work on the project, learn what you need to learn the important things you need in your field. Go and check the JD. What do they want? Become what they want. Just pass the interview. Once you get to the job, majority of what you learn about the job is on the job. You're going to learn it, right? The interview is formality. It's to qualify that you're actually a good fit before you head to the next step. Okay, so please don't see yourself as less qualified because you're coming in from a different career path. After most of these strategies I've shared, trust me, guys, if you want to have access to this recording, just fill the attendance form because there are some things here you really need to go over. But for some people, even after knowing the steps, knowing the strategy, you still feel scared answering some of these questions, or you still feel like you're not so convinced about this career path you're coming into, or what if you have what it takes to become maybe a new, maybe a cybersecurity specialist, or a data analyst, or a healthcare professional, whatever the career path is. If you're still scared about it, guys, that's where we come in. Okay, so Talent Loop, we literally support our clients with everything job search. Okay, we're talking about from CV revamp to LinkedIn optimization and all of that. But to get a job, you need to land the interviews. There's no two way about it, except for some people that, let's say, the founder and they just put you somewhere in the company. So to land the job, you need to take interviews and you need to be applying to these jobs to get an offer. So it's interview, application, interview, then offer. You don't just skip from one step to the offer to the other. And that's where we come in, because we help you from start to finish of the process. Okay. So everything from CV revamp and LinkedIn optimization. We support our clients with revamping their CV. Your CV, you see your CV, that document you think it's little, that's the thing that can get you an interview or not get you an interview. I've spoken to a client that he told me he gets in a month, like in that month, he had over 10 interviews. I say, how? Let me see your CV. This guy crafted one of the best CVs I have seen in a while, and everything on the CV was a lie. I asked him, if you've been having interview like this, why are you not getting the job? I think that's the question that brought about, let me see the CV. And I was not asking him questions about what I saw in the perfect CV. But he didn't know any of these. So I'm like, that's exactly why you're not getting the job. So imagine you on this call, right? You actually have what is on that perfectly crafted CV, and you can get into an interview and sell yourself. You will not be wasting any opportunity, like my friend, like the guy that keeps taking interviews and he wasn't getting the job. Okay, so your CV is what gets you an interview, but getting an interview is not enough. Okay, we also review your LinkedIn, because from your LinkedIn you can actually get recruiters visibility. Recruiters can actually see you on LinkedIn. I can't give you the perfect number, but like LinkedIn has the largest pool of recruiters, CEOs, CFO, co-founders, all of them are there. But they only just need to see you, and you don't even need to post until they see you. If your profile is well optimized and they're searching for what they need to search for, and you pop up, they found you. That's how SEO works. Thanks to technology nowadays, right? So yeah, that's exactly how it works. And we apply to jobs for you. We manage the entire application process. All right. For transparency in the applications, we get to share a client tracker. So a tracker is like a Google Sheet, and we upload the links. You get to see exactly the jobs that are being applied. Another way we ensure transparency in applications is we get to share like a Google Sheet, a Gmail account. So we encourage you to create a new email account. We have access to it. You have access to it, and we apply to these jobs. You can always see the updates coming in from that particular application that is happening. All right. And finally, interview prep. Remember, I told you that getting an interview is not enough. All right. Getting an interview is not enough. Can you actually convince a recruiter that you're the right person for the job? That is where interview preps come in. So we assign you to a specialist in your career path who prepares you ahead of these interviews. If you're a project manager, you're getting prepped with a project management specialist, someone in that field that has more experience than you. What about those that their LinkedIn has been restricted? So I think we have a way around this, except it has been permanently restricted. You have to create a new account. But if it's temporary, you might need to let go, like just leave the account for like a week or two, or I think you apply for something, you reach out to LinkedIn also. There's a way we go about it. I'll just get that information and get back to you on it, right? So yeah. So let's say you're looking for sponsorship, you're trying to get a job with a company that can sponsor you, or you're on a timeline and you just need another job that would be able to sponsor you. We have a package. We have a way we help clients in this category. So we still revamp your CV, optimize your LinkedIn, like I said earlier. That this is just to enhance your profile and get you the interviews. And we apply to jobs on your behalf. So for this particular category, the jobs application will be very, very specific. So we have about 50 visa job applications, meaning that would apply to companies that have a license. Maybe they've sponsored any of our clients in the past, or they have the potential to sponsor in the future for clients that are looking for sponsorship, right? And still, we manage the entire application process. And finally, you have 2 interview prep sessions with specialists. So from the experience I've had, helping clients applying to jobs, getting them interviews and all of that, clients that get prepped with specialists ahead of their interviews, they have a higher chance of actually getting the job. Okay, so the ones that get to the next stage are highly prepared. And for me, I like to tell my clients, see, once you get into the job search phase, it is actually a phase, okay? And you also have a role to play in this job search. Just because you're outsourcing the application does not mean you should completely hands off. You should always be prepared for interviews, okay? You should always be ready, because trust me, an interview can come in at any time. It could come in when you least expect it. But that's why you should always be ready. Okay. So in as much as we prep you, you also need to, use the time to prepare yourself too, while we get you the interviews. Okay. So yeah, recruiters reach out to our clients a whole lot. I told you guys earlier that we optimize your LinkedIn for search. Okay, so all of these are like actual recruiters reaching out to a couple of our clients on LinkedIn. Okay, and we have a lot of these actually. I just highlighted the ones that I could. Okay, and for interview invites, we get you at least 3 interviews. That is depending on the package you're going for, because different clients have different struggles. All right, one client might be looking for sponsorship, the other client just wants to get a job. So both of you are not going, we would not help you in the same way. Okay. So yeah, depending on whatever you're going for, we get you your interviews, and we have a couple of screenshots of clients that we've been able to help get interviews. Okay. So these are just a couple of them. And for testimonials, Talent Loop, we do not promise jobs. That's just one thing I want to clarify. Okay. We don't promise jobs, but we have clients that have been able to get jobs from the process. All right, from applying to these jobs, getting interviews, we prep them and everything, and yeah, they were successful in getting this job. This is literally the end goal for most of us that come aboard with us. All right, so yeah, this is just to let you know that there is a high possibility for this to happen. So we have someone like Christian. Christian got a job as a project manager. I will work with him for 6 weeks. Okay, so on the right is when the recruiting team sent him his offer, he was super excited about it. All right. So we actually have clients that have successfully gotten jobs like Ene got a job as a data scientist, and she was working the company she got a job in is in the UK. I worked with her for 2 months. And one thing Nene even told us was that even beyond after she got the job, she was still getting feedback from recruiters. So there's that, literally it is expected, because we keep applying till you get your interviews. That's depending on the package. Let's say you're going for the regular packages or you're going for the application package, right? We'll get you your 3 interviews, okay? But you still have an active job search profile. So most likely recruiters would still be seeing you on LinkedIn. They would still be seeing you on some other job boards, and they would still send you messages, right? We may not be there to receive it because we've closed out on you, but you'd still keep getting some of this feedback from older applications that had already been done. So I like to say it's a win-win for my clients, right? So now we have Yetunde. Yetunde got a job as a customer support specialist in the US. So she got a job. We worked with her for a month, and she was able to achieve this. On the left is when she told us about it. We literally had to screenshot like the raw like WhatsApp message. So you see that there's no editing, there's no nothing. That's just yesterday she got the job. She told us about it. She was super excited. We also have more recent clients, just that not everyone is like okay putting their faces out there and all of that. So we might not even be able to share that here with you. So these are the ones that we can share to let you know that yes, that goal you have in mind is very achievable. But you also need to understand different strokes to different folks, right? How prepared are you for the job search phase? That's another thing you need to ask yourself. So you wouldn't be a situation of we get you your interviews, you're now wasting these opportunities because you yourself you are not ready for these interviews, right? So we have Temi. Temi got a job as a Scrum Master, and for her, it was 4 interviews because 2 came in at the same time, and she got a job after she was prepped for the last interview. So yeah, that's Temi, and yeah. So those are clients that have been able to achieve results out of the others, just the few that we can showcase publicly, just privacy concerns, right? So now, Talent Loop, we do not promise jobs. We don't provide guarantees for jobs. We support you with the job search phase. Job application is a job on its own. And Talent Loop is we do that job for you. Okay. So people say application is a job. Yes, it's a job, but we do the job for you. That's one thing you should have in mind. All right. We guarantee you 3 interviews depending on your package. And we also, apply to jobs. If you're going for anything that relates to sponsorship, there's something separate for you. If you need interviews, there's something separate. If you just want CV revamp and all of that, there's something separate. And I'm going to showcase that to you all. But I've said a lot, guys. We're going to be taking questions very very soon. Okay. So if you already have questions, let's say you're at where you can't speak, you can start using the chat. Let's talk. This is the conversation part of things. You might have questions around your career path, and you just want to get more understanding about what you're trying to get into. Or let's say you're already even with the service, because I see some of you that some names I know, and you still have some questions around how you go about answering certain interview questions and all that. You can drop it in the chat, or you can raise your hand. I would acknowledge you, and we're going to take questions. Now, for service, like what does it take to get on board with Talent Loop? Going to run you through all of these, and then we will take questions. Okay. So we have 4 major packages we typically work with. All right. That's the basic package is the first one. So let's say you want to do your application by yourself, and but you need us to give you new materials. All right. We have this package where it supports CV review and revamp. We would review your CV, give you a well-structured and a well-revamped CV. Now you have your LinkedIn optimization. We optimize your LinkedIn. I showed you guys earlier recruiters reaching out to a couple of our clients. You can also be in the same shoe. It's just because your profile is not well optimized. Okay, so we would support you, we would do that on your behalf. It's like a done for you type of service. All right. And finally, we share with you our 2026 job search toolkit. So the toolkit is basically interview question and answers, just literally things that support you with trying to apply to jobs and all. That's the basic package, and it goes for $75. And now we have the premium package. So the premium package is where applications happen for those of you that are interested specifically in the applications. Okay, so we apply to jobs on your behalf. Everything from CV, we revamp your CV in this package. We optimize your LinkedIn. CV, LinkedIn is optimized. The full job application service. So the way the service works is we assign you to a specialist in your career path. All right. We assign you to an employability specialist who applies to these jobs on your behalf. So these are well experienced people with applications, and you get to have a one-on-one conversation from onboarding just to even let's align. Okay, so even coming on board with us, you need to go through speaking with our career coaches first before you go ahead to make a decision with any of our packages. We don't just you don't just go ahead and pay because you want to take your money. No, we have to go through some kind of consultation, clarify on expectations first, and then you proceed with choosing the right package that suits what you're looking for. So that's the premium. We guarantee you 3 interviews in this premium package, and we share our job search toolkits. So the premium package goes for $250. All right. So that's the premium package, and typical timeline for this package is 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks of applications. All right. So it's not your defined service period. It's more like a timeline for us. If by 8 weeks it's looking like you're not getting the result that's expected, we'll have to come back together, re-strategize, and have a conversation again around this. Oh, what can we do differently? That's premium. That's the premium package. Now, comprehensive. Comprehensive is everything that Talent Loop has to offer, from CV revamp and review, LinkedIn optimization, job application, 3 guaranteed interviews, interview prep with specialists, the interview handbook, and all our job search toolkits. So that's the comprehensive, everything, including interview prep. We assign it to a specialist. And all of that goes for $350 for the comprehensive package. Now, moving forward, we have the pro consultation package. So if you need specifically consultation, this is different from our regular clarity sessions, right? So in the pro consultation, we have an instant CV review. We review your LinkedIn profile. We share some resources with you, and we give you access to an interview prep. So that's just more of consultation, and that's just $100, right? And finally, the platinum package for clients interested in anything sponsorship related. We have 50 specific job applications, guys. If you've applied to sponsorship jobs, or you've applied to jobs in NHS, you will know that it's different from, it's not the same as applying for regular jobs, guys. It's a lot, right? So we would take our time, search for these jobs, and you apply to 50 of them. We have your CV revamp and LinkedIn optimization. You would also get access to 2 interview prep sessions with specialists. It could happen before any interview comes, or even after an interview, or even let's say you don't even have an interview, but you just want to get prepped. All of that is possible in the platinum package. We do not guarantee interviews in the platinum package because it is very sensitive. We're talking about sponsorship here, and when it comes to sponsorship, there are a lot of things that are not guaranteed. But there are a lot of our clients that just need that momentum going. Applications should be happening. The LinkedIn should be revamped. The interview prep, they need that momentum because there's a goal they want to achieve. And a lot of them go for the platinum because it is more tailored to what they're looking for. And we have that for £150. So guys, now the March cohort is actually filled up, guys. And I literally had to beg to open up only 5 more slots for the March batch. So if you're trying to come on board, you're not going to see March again on Monday. Or let's say you've already signified interest here, please just book for a session. Because if you've already booked and you come on the session to say, okay, I attended a Saturday session and this, we understand that, oh, you've signified interest for the 5 slots. But from Monday, we are taking clients in for the April cohort. We're maxed out for the March. So we take clients in batches, and once we've been able to take the number we need for a certain batch, we move to the next. And we already had the number for March, so I decided and I spoke with my guys. We open up 5 more slots. If you're trying to get on board as soon as March, that's towards the ending of March, we take you on board, but you need to take action as soon as you can. So I'm going to be taking questions now. If you have any questions for me, you need clarifications, you have anything you need, maybe you just want to share a struggle you're facing, what you think you can do about it, now is the best time. You can go ahead, raise your hand. I'll be taking questions now, guys. If you need to book for a clarity session, you're interested, you want to hop on board, but you need more information, please book for a session with our career coaches. The link is in the chat. If you've not filled the attendance form, there are certain strategies I shared that you might need to go over again. Please fill the attendance form so that we can share these resources with you. So if you have a question, you can go ahead, raise your hand, and I'll acknowledge you so we can take things up from here. I'm checking questions, clarifications, need to clarify anything. Hello, Irene. Can go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused. The platinum package, is it different from the previous one you analyzed where you went from the one of $75 to the one of 250 and 200 and then the one of 350? Are they different packages? Or for example, the one of 350, is it not also included with Alliance sponsorship role? Can you explain further on those ones, please? You are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so there are different packages for different reasons, right? So I'm just going to take you back to the other ones. If you look at these packages, this first one is specific to clients that just want, let's say you want to do the applications by yourself, but you need us to give you a new CV and a LinkedIn, like an optimized LinkedIn account. That's the basic package. We do all of that for you. So the premium here is we revamp your CV, we optimize your LinkedIn, we apply in this package. So the full job application service happens here. Okay. The only difference between this and the platinum package is the fact that in the premium, we do not have to start tailoring applications only to sponsorship jobs. We don't have to focus only on sponsorship. Okay. And there is also an interview, there's a 3 interview guarantee on this package because we are not solely focusing. So here, the metric for success is your 3 interviews. While there, we focus on applying to 50 job sponsorship, jobs. Okay. So that's the difference. You can see that that's the platinum, that's the comprehensive. The comprehensive here, the difference is that we prep you for the interview in the comprehensive. So they assign you to a specialist that prepares you ahead of an interview in the comprehensive package. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Irene?
Yes, it does.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
So the one for the platinum one, that's the 150 package one, the 150. You don't revamp somebody's CV with that one. You just focus more on the visa sponsorship. And do you apply for the person, or you just give the person the visa sponsorship jobs to apply by himself?
Okay, we apply actually. So in the platinum package, let me see. In the platinum package, I'm trying to see if I can expand this. Okay, I can. Okay, so we have 50 job applications specifically to sponsorship jobs, CV revamp, LinkedIn optimization, we apply to the 50 jobs. So we don't just find it and share it with you. We actually apply to them. And I told you guys earlier that for transparency, we share a tracker with you. Okay. So there's like a job tracker, a Google tracker rather, where we upload the links to the jobs that are being applied. So you get to see what's happening from the specialist end. Does that make sense?
The only difference is you don't prep for interview.
We prep. The difference is that we do not guarantee interviews. It's not guaranteed because we are specifically applying to this job. So, there's a difference between applying to regular jobs, like other regular jobs, and applying specifically to jobs like, let's say you're applying only to NHS, for example. Even the application process is not the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in this platinum now, it is more tailored, it's more specific than the other ones. Okay. This is just for clients that need sponsorship. It's not for everyone. There are just specific clients in the UK that probably need, let's say you're already sponsored and you want to go into a new job, but that new job needs to also be able to sponsor you. That type of situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're in that type of situation, that they would rather go for a package that is tailored only to sponsorship. Okay. So for those other ones, we don't tailor it only to sponsorship. We apply, get you your interviews. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But if you need like further clarity on this, I think you can book it. Just book for a clarity session. Let's have like a one-on-one chat.
I think I filled the form where I booked for consultation on Monday. I don't know if that's going to be too late because I'm really interested. I wanted to do the comprehensive, but I've just seen the platinum package just now. And my area focus is more on the sponsorship role, however, still wanting to switch. So the thing is, I'm really interested, but I just need more clarity and something that will actually deliver what I really want.
Yeah, that makes sense. So since you've already booked, do well to remind whoever.
Yeah, but what you said just now, you said there might be no slots again.
Yeah.
So how does that leave me? So I don't know if other people have questions to ask. I don't want to take too much space. I don't want to be selfish. I want to give room for others to talk as well.
Okay. All right. I actually do understand the level of questions you're going to have considering your situation. Okay, so we'll have that chat on Monday. Most likely slots are going to be available on Monday, right? For you to book for a clarity session. So if you're coming in from this conversation, like just make sure you're booking it early on Monday so that we're not speaking to people before we speak to you.
It's actually early, 9:40 a.m.
That's great. That's good. Okay, so if we get to speak to other people before we get to you, the 4 slots would have already been filled up. Tomorrow is Sunday. All right. So yeah, that's fine. That's actually okay. All right.
Okay, then. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Does any other person have a question? You need clarification? I think I saw a question in the chat. Let's take that question, right? So Nikesh says, I have a background as a data analyst. I've not worked since March 2025, except for completing the Amdari internship, August quote, March, April, May, June, July, August. March, 6 months. I am currently seeking data engineer positions, but the market has been challenging in interviews. I explained that I worked with Amdari as a data engineer consultant on live client projects, helping solve data issues. So far, I haven't specified that my role at Amdari was an internship. How do I explain what I do? You work with Amdari, you work as a data engineer consultant at Amdari. So it's going to now depend on the way you talk about your experience with Amdari. If you talk about it as though it was an internship, then they will just figure out that, oh, this was an internship. Okay, so your approach to explaining what you do would be more focused on the projects you worked on. And you are not just talking about these projects recklessly. You need to talk about it from a problem solving perspective. Okay, so look at the business. Let's say, for example, you have an interview with a company. Let's say the industry is more of maybe manufacturing, or just Just look for, let's just use a random industry. I don't know what industries you've had interviews with, but when you're having these interviews, you need to try as much as possible to talk about your project in a way that makes sense to them. So if you're talking about, if you're in an e-commerce related type of industry, let's say you're having an interview with anything e-commerce related that involves revenue specifically, you will have to be leading with a project where you built any model or managed anything around, revenue, like specifically with that. So it makes a recruiter understand that you actually get their pain points. Do you get? So when you're explaining what you do, lead with the project and not necessarily with what the company does, whether it's an internship or not. Lead with the experience you've been able to get from Amdari, working with them. That's what they're concerned about. I showed you guys earlier. What are recruiters actually, what do they actually care about? Can you do the job? That's what they want to know. Okay, and most times they judge that by the years of experience that you have. But recently we've gotten to see that even people can get jobs with 6 months, years of 6 months experience, 4 months experience, 1 year, people are getting jobs. So now you can see that recruiters are shifting from, oh, they need to have 10 years of experience, to understand that, oh, someone can actually be able to get the job done with just 6 years of experience. Just show me how you can get the job done. Okay, so this means you need to know what are the specific tools in your industry that are literally like non-negotiable. What are the kind of tools that if you mention that you know how to use, a recruiter will take you seriously. Just like if you're a data analyst now, for example, you can't run away from tools like Power BI, Excel. You have to use one, Power BI, Excel, Tableau. You need to know your core tools for your job. Okay. Now, this can also be specific to the job itself. Every job has a job description. Go and check their job description. What are those tools on that JD that looks like it's very, very important to this company? So, as a data engineer, you also need to understand what are certain tools this job is using that I need to know how to use, guys. Whether they taught you or not, that's why we have ChatGPT, that's why we have AI, that's why we have Google. You need to go and learn how, at least learn the basics. Okay. So when you're explaining this, you're already lucky that you're coming from a data analyst background. Okay, coming in from a data analyst background. Now, let me ask you, I don't know if you can speak, Nikesh. I'll ask you a question that you might have gotten before from a recruiter. Okay, you're coming in from data analysis, going into data engineering. What was that switch for you? Why do you prefer data engineering to data analysis? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
evening. Good
Yeah.
evening. Why didn't
So,
you just continue with data analysis?
so the reason why I made the switch to data engineer is because I worked over 10 years as a data analyst at at Virgin Media O2, right? So before it was Telefonica O2, but it merged with Virgin's Media, so it became Virgin Media O2. And Um, and during this time, I had like two roles. So basically, my first role was data reporting specialist, which was over 9 years. And then recently, there it was data analyst for 8 months. And yeah, during COVID time, I wanted to do something different because I've got everything I possibly could get from this company and from this role. So I was during my university, I did a bachelor of science in computer systems. So basically, did like programming, and I wanted to go back into that. So I looked at like YouTube clips and read upon Python and SQL and stuff like that. So I found that Python and SQL and stuff like that in data engineering as intriguing to me. So I did so from 2022 to 2024, I did like data engineering training program with AI Core. And after my contract concluded with VMO2 at end of March, I wanted to pursue that career path in data engineering. So I was actively looking for work as data engineering in that area, and I found it a bit difficult due to lack of experience in data engineering. So that's why I took like a internship program, and I did apply for a lot of internship in the UK with different companies, but then I saw Amdari during throughout the social media on Instagram, and did my research on what Amdari does and who they are, and yes, they um, they reach out to African community, but I'm Indian, so but I thought let me take a risk. So I took a risk, and within a couple of days or two, Amdari reached out to me, and I joined the August cohort, and I for the data engineering, and I've completed the internship program in January time. So yeah, that's my story. Hello.
Hi, Nikesh. Of course, we're still with you.
Yeah.
I think Victory dropped off due to her network.
Okay. It was. Yeah.
Yes, but we completely understand. Okay, I think
Yeah.
she's back. Hi, Victory, are you here? I'm
Yes,
muted.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can you? Oh yeah, I was
Good.
listening to Nikesh on my other device. I think I got kicked out at some point. So yeah, I heard what you said. You're coming in from data analysis, and you spent most of your experience, you had it as a data analyst, and now you're
Yeah.
transitioning to data engineering. I said something earlier when I was speaking that you need to understand it won't be as easy, but you have leverage. That's what you should also consider. All right. And looking at the fact that you're also transition, it's not like for you it's not transitioning, it's more like pivoting. Okay, so
Yes.
you're in the same industry, you're just taking it from one step to the other. And when you're talking, you're actually very experienced. Don't is a Now you need to work on how you are actually seeing what you're doing in the first place. You have over 10 years of experience in data analysis. You're not the average data analyst. You've worked in this career path for a while. All right. So, and you're going into data engineering. Obviously, there are actually tools. I'm pretty sure at some point you learn tools that you would also use if you were a data scientist, maybe Python. I think you said that, Seth, right? So you are right where you want to be. Like you're doing exactly what you need to do. Shouldn't be scared whether a recruiter thinks it's right or not. Just keep going for these interviews. Craft your story. Like
Mm.
craft your story. When you were explaining yourself, it didn't you were talking about your experience, yeah, but
Yes.
there wasn't exactly a structure around it. So you might want to
Mm.
go back and craft it. You might, even if you don't need to memorize it, but just
Mm.
know what you're saying afterwards. Okay, so that it wouldn't water down the level of experience that you have, because you actually have what it takes. You just need to be able to say it in a way that makes the recruiter understand that you're coming in with some level of experience. So you need to go back and craft that pitch. Okay,
Mm.
look at your CV. I think you're with us now, right? You're with Talent Loop. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
you're very, yeah. Is it March or
Yes.
February?
Yes. I should start in March. Yes.
Okay, you're coming on board in March. One thing I would love for you to do when your CV has been revamped, you need to look at, because trust me, that is going to give you some level of direction in how you are going to talk about your experience. Okay, there's this thing around, a lot of our clients, you hear what they have to say about their experience. It's a lot. But when you look at the CV, it's like, why are you not putting these things on your CV? So now we would do the diligence of putting that on your CV. What you need to do is see how you can create your transition career story from that CV. Okay, so
Mm.
that as we are positioning you on your CV, you are also reflecting the same thing in interviews. Okay, so don't go in with the mindset of data engineering is like a new. I when you mentioned data engineering at first, I was like, oh, that's like one career path that I really admire people that go into data engineering, because it's not the conventional thing. You need you need some
Mm.
level of grit to be a data engineer, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so far as you know your stuff,
yeah.
okay, just keep going for these interviews, keep practicing. Every interview should be an opportunity for you to learn something new, whether you get the job or not. This is why I encourage all my clients to record their interviews. You can use your phone. Okay, let's say you're taking the interview on your laptop. This is so that you maximize every opportunity of an interview. Get your phone, record the conversation, and play it to ChatGPT to analyze it for you. How did you do? Score me. Can you give me a score? What do you think I would have done better? If you were a recruiter, would you hire me? All those type of things. Play around with ChatGPT. It will help you so that the next time you go for another interview, the mistake you made in the previous one, you are not going to repeat it. I had a client that he this is something I think he will never ever forget in his life, because when we had that conversation, it was something that we could laugh about at the time, but when it happened, it wasn't even funny at all. How, like, okay, he had an interview. Let's say you have an interview for today is Monday, you have an interview for Friday, and he had not used his laptop that week, but his laptop has always been very reliable, very, very reliable. So he didn't expect that anything would go wrong on the day of the interview. So he just, he didn't have any use of his laptop that week, and it was on a Friday that the interview was for. So he just turns it on, logs in, goes to the email, joins the interview, and in the middle of answering questions during his presentation, because they asked him to do like a presentation and all of that, his laptop starts updating. Guys, it was
No.
horrible. Yeah. So you see that kind of thing. We talk about preparation a whole lot. It goes beyond even preparing for your, like, how to answer these questions. Everything about you needs to scream, I am ready. Do you understand? And there are some things that only experience can teach you. Some I can tell you about it based on other people's experience. It is better you learn from other people's experience than to experience it by yourself, because there is nothing as painful as having an interview where you feel very confident that you'd have gotten to the next stage, but because of something that you didn't think prior to time for, it just ruins everything, right? So yeah, it's good that you're already on board, right? Once we've done your CV, you need to have a story, you need to have a structure as to how you're going to answer your interview questions based off the way we are going to be positioning you on your CV, and your experience with Amdari coupled with your training. Remember, I talked about at some point in my presentation, I talked about showing proof of commitment. That is your proof of commitment. Okay,
Yeah.
you did training in data engineering. I'm not sure how long you did it for. How long did you do it for?
And so the data engineering training program I did was for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, yeah. It was a 2-year program.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's so did you work on projects in the two
Yeah.
years
So basically, that program was from scratch, from the beginners to all
Mhm.
the way to advanced level. So it
Okay.
did like so basically you did like a basic syntax, so like Python, basics SQL, and so on and so on. Then it did the
Mhm.
intermediate level, then the advanced level, then the expert level, and from
Okay.
that, after that, I did like quite a few projects that I've done, and I've showcased that on my GitHub profile.
Okay. Okay. So the company you did the training with Was there
Very cool.
anything in their offer that said they would be able to offer some level of reference, like maybe reference in case you put them on your CV or stuff like that? Did they say anything around that?
Yeah. Those reference for 6 months. Yeah,
Has 6 months passed already?
it's already done and dusted.
So after 6 months, they don't reference it. Oh, you're
Mm,
in already, so we'll talk about all that. I'm seeing something we can do around it
mm,
because 2 years, two so people are 2 years into their career. That's a lot of
mm,
time. But yeah. So yeah, just have a story. You have experience. You have your proof of commitment, which is the training that you
mm,
did. You might not even need to say it as a training, right? But
mm,
that's all on the inside. When we get to talk, we talk about all of that, right? So you've done your projects. You have your internship. You have probably done some level of research, and you are actually committed to this thing. So it's now about how you can properly express it to a recruiter to, they know that you're the right person for the job. All right.
mm.
So yeah, does any other person? Okay, so thank you, Nikesh. I
Oh,
hope
thank you very
to
much.
an extent you have more confidence, but you should actually have that confidence. You have what it takes. It's just about drafting it in a way that makes you very undeniable. All right. So yeah. Does anyone have any more questions? I don't know if there's any question in the chat because I think I dropped off for like a couple of minutes. Olushe, is there a question in the chat I've missed so far? Guys, please fill the attendance form so that we can share. All right. Does any other person have a question? BA, can you get a business analyst? Can you get one job application relocate from one country to the other? Oh, okay. So when you mean applications that will enable one to relocate from one country to the other. We're talking about a job that can sponsor you to do that, or it's one of two ways. Either you want sponsorship or you are open to relocating, and that means the kind of jobs we can apply across both the country you're in and the country you want to be in. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean that the company needs to be able to sponsor you to travel, to relocate to work? Do you understand? So I need to know that before I'm able to answer this question. And we don't help only clients in the UK, though let's say I can tell you maybe 70% they're in the UK, but we apply for clients in Canada, we help clients in the US, we also help, I think we've had some clients in Ireland too. So yeah. So I want to get your question. Do you mean sponsorship or do you mean I'm open to relocation and I want you guys to apply to two countries for me? Is that what you mean? Chris, if you can speak, I would prefer you unmute and speak. But if you can't, please answer it in the chat so I can have more context as to how to answer your questions. But in the meantime, does any other person have a question? You can raise your hand and I'll take your question before we call it in. Our time is already fast spent. So I'm still waiting on Chris for clarification. Yes. There's a job that the recruiter from a company can sponsor from one country to the other. This is going to be very, very tricky because for our regular packages, we do not specifically apply to, like, let's say you want sponsorship or you want a company that there's no specifics there. But if you're looking at the platinum package, typically, right, what we have, the kind of clients that go for such packages, let's say you're in the UK, you have a job already, but you need another job, and now both jobs needs to be able to sponsor you. Okay, so that type of situation. If you're looking for different countries, it's going to be twice as hard as getting sponsorship for one country. This is just me being realistic with you guys because there's really nothing to hide in this job search. All of us are job searching. We understand that it's not easy. but because we have systems in place, we make it easier. But when it comes to, one country trying to sponsor you to another country, is as hard as getting sponsorship in just one country. So no, no, we don't do difference. Maybe you want sponsorship from one country to another country. I would need to have a more clarity. Let's say I would need to have another clarity session with you to understand if we have anything we can leverage to even think about that at this point in time. Okay, but for packages, we don't have anything that's best suits clients in this particular category right now. Okay, so Chris, I hope that has been able to give you some level of, okay. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So what I actually mean that, for example, I apply for a job. I'm in Cape Town here, and I apply for a job, and maybe that job is in UK or in Canada, and they are really impressed, maybe with what I do, with my CV, with my LinkedIn, and they are impressed, And then if they need me, can they be able to at least prepare the paperwork for me to come over to do that job? I mean, that's the relocation I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. So that will depend on how good you are. And most times, one interview is not going to tell a recruiter that, oh, I need to find a way to get you on board in my team. All right. So now you need to also understand that even people in the UK are looking for those type of jobs that would make recruiters. Let me just tell you guys, this is how this thing works. Okay. So there's some level of favoritism in this stuff, right? They would consider the guys in the country already looking for these opportunities, because when you're filling your form, you put all this information there, they can see it. But when filtering from the employer's point of view, there are certain people they will consider over certain people. So I have somebody that's already in the UK looking for sponsorship. Why would I give someone in Cape Town to come over to the UK? Does that make sense? So those type of things, it's not like it's impossible. It's just that it takes more than just applications most of the time. Let's say, for example, you have a social media platform you post your stuff on, maybe on LinkedIn, and from LinkedIn, a recruiter can see how good you are. Or maybe you apply for a job and they went to check you out and they've seen that, wow, there's something you've done that I really need you to implement the same thing in my company. Any recruiter will do whatever it takes to bring you on board in their team. In that kind of stuff, there is already some level of credibility that has been established about what you can do. Okay, sponsorship is kind of a risk on their ends. They are putting this bet on you that, oh, do this thing, I would sort the rest out. That type of thing. So you need to also consider that, oh, there's like a line. All right, what are you going to do to skip this line? You need to be really good at what you do when you're applying. If the regular person in the UK is applying 5 jobs in a day, you should be applying to 10 or 20. So for us right now, we don't have that system for intra-country or different country trying to go to different country and all of that. Not yet. Okay, so it's either you're open to relocation or you might just want to see your way around it. Okay, but it's possible. It's just that it's not frequent as you would expect. So you need to do more to get that type of results. Does that make sense, Chris? Oh yeah, you can go ahead.
Yes. With regards to that, because I've been this tech, of a thing, we always talk about US, Canada, UK, US, Canada, UK. So does tech not extend to places like Australia, New Zealand, I mean around the globe, or just these 3 places? US, Canada, UK, US, Canada, UK. What about other places? Doesn't it cover these other places with regards to job applications?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you 2 answers to that question. One is going to be specific to Talent Loop, and the second is going to be generally. Okay, So specific to Talent Loop, write down where we just recently expanded to the US and Canada. So we're yet to expand to other regions. That's why we're hesitant to take up clients in some other regions we've not had experience working with before. So I can tell you that okay, we are conversant with the UK job market, the US job market, Canadian job market. To an extent, Ireland, since that is like Ireland and the UK are somewhat similar in a way. All right. Now that's for Talent Loop in terms of answers. But generally, all right, if you do your research, if you search, you understand that these three countries are like, how do I want to put it? It's more like career wise, opportunities wise, they are the countries that you would most likely see more opportunities. So a lot of immigrants would rather go for the three. It doesn't mean that there are no opportunities in other countries. Now, if you look at the percentage of what our clients are coming in to do in the UK, US, Canada, most of the time, aside from healthcare, it's mostly tech. And these are the countries that you would find a lot of tech jobs, tech roles. This is where there is speed. There is like things are moving fast, there's acceleration. So if you're looking for certain types of jobs, you just need to be where you will be able to find those types of opportunities fast. And that's why you would always hear these three countries coming up most of the time. Okay. That doesn't mean other countries there's no job, just but if we're looking at percentage, one is more than the other. That's just it. So yeah, that's just global wise. That's basically it, right? So Chris, does that make sense to you? Doesn't mean that every other person is not. Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
So apart from the relocation now, at least somebody can still secure a remote job, no matter where you are.
Yeah, you can. It's
Okay,
possible.
no matter the country.
No matter the country, you can secure a remote job.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. It's very
okay.
that
Because
that's the best. That's even better. That's the best route to go about it than even relocation itself. Yeah. Just focus more on remote applications and yeah, you're good. All right. Does any other person have a question? Uh, does any other person? Because we're already calling it in. So guys, book for clarity. Some people will not want to share certain things here in a general call. So just book for a clarity session. Let's speak. Let's have a one-on-one call with you. I'll prefer you book on Monday, guys, because if you book, I can't tell that you find slots by Thursday or Friday. So book between Monday, Tuesday. Let's quickly have you. If you can't wait to book for a session, Olushe, please drop our support in the chat. You can send a message to her, then we'll attend to you on Monday. At least early Monday, we'll be able to attend to you. If it's just questions you need to have, but if you want to speak with a coach, just book for a session. Let's have you. Either way, just ensure that you get on the match court before it is exhausted. Does any other person have like a question you need clarification? Or if you've been able to learn one or two things from this session, it's really good that you fill the attendance form so that we are able to share materials with you. Okay? Okay. All right, Olushe, can you share the contact? Or I think, should they just book for clarity? Let me see. I see a couple of us are booking for clarity. That's good. That's great. All right, guys. Fill the attendance form once again. We'll give you access to the recording. We're also going to give you access to the slides that have been used for this session. So thank you all for really taking out time having this conversation. I'm sure one or two questions that have answered the questions of every other person. But in case you have any additional thing you want to talk about, let's have a one-on-one, preferably Monday or Tuesday, so that we get you on board earlier, okay? But in the absence of any other questions, Thank you all for taking our time to join. Have a very wonderful day ahead, or evening, or afternoon, depending on wherever you're joining me from. Bye, guys. See you on the inside for those of you that will be coming in to the service with us. All right. Bye, everyone.